Francisco fans are hoping that another streak starts tonight. Welcome to AT&T Park for Game 4 of the NL Division Series between the Washington Nationals and the San Francisco Giants. Welcome inside the broadcast booth with John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian. In a short 5-game division series, momentum is fickle. And in that what have you done for me lately dynamic, the lately is with the Washington Nationals, hoping that they've stemmed the tide in this series.
Yeah, you never know which moment or which play is going to turn it for them. And it came to Ramos not bunting in 3 years. He got a bunt down that opened really the gate for the Nationals. They get 3 runs in a 7th. They're trying to ride that momentum. Maybe that helps their offense get going, and they're going to need that if they're going to extend it to Game 5.
Yeah, let's talk about the pitching assignments for Game 4. Ryan Vogelsong struggled down the stretch for the Giants. He has been, however, a big fall performer for them in the past.
That's what they're hoping they get. It's 13 losses, 2 runs or less. Really a clouded record, but they're hoping that he can regain that postseason magic where 5 starts, only 1 run given up in those starts. For them to eliminate the Nationals, they need Vogelsong to be very, very good.
So if Ryan Vogelsong struggled down the stretch, his opposite number, Gonzalez, was terrific in the second half of the season, threw the ball very well.
Yeah, second half was great. Fastball command is going to be a key. He's a guy that uses his curveball as a weapon. 4 left-handers in the Giants lineup. Look for that curveball to be vital. But he's going to have to control his emotions. He's an emotional guy, and see if that can happen for the Nationals again to continue playing.
Nationals might have some momentum with yesterday's win, but the Giants have a 2-1 advantage in this best of 5, and this crowd hoping that this series ends tonight. Lineups and opening pitch next. The tone for stingy starting pitching, and the visiting Giants hung on to a 1-run win. The following night, an even bigger challenge for hitters. The Giants tied it with 2 out in the 9th, and Game 2 was on its way to becoming the longest in postseason history. So facing elimination yesterday in San Francisco, the Nationals responded. Washington hoping that a sac bunt and bad throw can turn the series. After tonight, the Nationals return to D.C. Will the Giants be heading there with them? Well, Ryan Vogelsong, Buster Posey and company certainly hope not. They'd like this to end tonight, much like the other NL Division Series ended in 4. The Cardinals' shocking come-from-behind win over Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers, ending Los Angeles' season. In fact, the roar here in San Francisco confirmed the long-standing dislike between Giants fans and everything blue in Southern California. In fact, the only thing that would make this crowd happier than a Dodger loss is to add a Giants win to it on the same day. Now, Bruce Bochy put together a starting lineup that looks like this, or rather Matt Williams put together a starting lineup that looks like this. The National starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live Moss. Span, Rendon, and Worth. LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper. Ramos and Cabrera, and then the pitcher Gio Gonzalez. And if it looks familiar to you, it's because Matt Williams has not changed a thing, save of course his number 9 pitcher and starting, his number 9 hitter rather, and starting pitcher. And on the mound starting for the Giants, the 37-year-old veteran right-hander Ryan Vogelsong.
Yeah, Ryan Vogelsong, look at that year. The numbers are a little bit deceiving. 13 losses. 16 times he pitched 2 runs or less. So you see the record there. And the ERA, it's one of those years that we're talking to Bruce Bochy. They said if something could go wrong, it went wrong for Ryan Vogelsong. But they're hoping that nothing goes wrong in the postseason, as he has been very, very good in the postseason.
Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Here's to Budweiser. Here's to baseball. Denard Span ready to start things out in Game 4. We had the note earlier on the pregame show. 11 of the 51 teams that have been down 0-2 in a league division series have come back to force a Game 5. And as Matt Williams told us before the game tonight, one game, one moment at a time when you're faced with a back-to-the-wall deficit like the one that the Washington Nationals are still looking at. Yes, they have some momentum after the win yesterday, but this is still an elimination game for the Nats. Game 4 is underway.
One thing to look for when you're seeing Vogelsong, he's going to attack with fastballs and cutters. He really doesn't have a put-away pitch, so some counts can be extended. He has to pitch ahead. When he's ahead of the count, much better than when he's behind. A big average when the count does not favor him.
Good 0-1 to Span is fouled away. Saw Pablo Sandoval in at third base. He will retreat now and play even with the bag on a 2-strike count to Denard Span. A couple of hits yesterday for the Washington leadoff hitter, something that Matt Williams felt was imperative for his team to get back in it. Span putting to bed a troubling 0 for 12 to begin this postseason. The 0-2.
He will throw a curveball at about 77 miles an hour, 12-6 action, but mostly hard with the slider that is really a cutter. Change up at 84 to 82 miles an hour. And as I mentioned, he's deadly when he's ahead of the count at a 150 opponent's batting average against.
And the 1-2 to Span records the first out of the night.
An outside fastball dot in the outside corner. He's going to need the low strike zone. Hunter Wendelstedt, a low ball umpire for the most part. So if he gets that pitch and he can move it in and out with the fastball, that'll be a good recipe of success for Ryan Vogelsong. I mentioned what he was ahead of the count, behind in the count. They're hitting .342. That is a huge difference, Matt, between being ahead in the count and behind. That's a big gap. And look for the Nationals to exploit that if they can.
Here's Anthony Rendon now with one away. The Washington third baseman has been, without question, the Nationals' best offensive threat in the series. 7 for 15 in the 3 games combined. That includes a 4-hit game 2 that went down in vain. To 2-0, and to your point, John, we'll get to see now Vogelsong behind in the count and see what kind of effect it has on this plate appearance.
Well, when hitters put the ball in play on a 2-0 count, 6-11 average. 6-11. That's the count he has to stay away from. 2-0.
It's the count he's in, and his 2-0 pitch home to Rendon is in for a strike. Ryan Vogelsong's last regular season assignment came back on September 26th, so considerable time between starts. And as we mentioned, he was not sharp down the stretch. We put the numbers on your screen as we went on the air. 0-4 in those final 5 starts. And the opponents, it was the Rockies, 2 games against the Diamondbacks and 2 games against the Padres. None of the teams in that group would be considered offensive giants. 3 balls and a strike to Anthony Rendon. Out to right center field. Gregor Blanco out there once again tonight, 2 away.
Well, here's a guy, Matt, that I'm going to think in worth. I know we talk about the amount of pitches he takes per at bat, but he's going to have to be a little more aggressive. He's taking a lot of pitches, getting deep in counts, and adding that pitch total, but it hasn't related into many hits. 071 in this brief series. So I would anticipate his aggressiveness being a little bit more in this game.
The Nationals' most experienced postseason player, almost 200 postseason at bats, and as John mentions, only 1 for 14 against the Giants in this series.
Could almost tell he wanted to, but a pitch away, he decided that he's only looking for one on the inner half down that he can drive early in the count.
A ball and a strike to count to Jason Worth. The discussion has been made with a lot of postseason pitchers this year about their ability, their seeming ability to end the regular season in bad shape and then flip the switch. Justin Verlander had done it the past couple of years, was not successful in doing that this season, the Tigers having been swept by Baltimore. But Ryan Vogelsong according to Bruce Bochy, was one of those guys when he had the great 2012 postseason. He did not end that regular season in real good shape. And Bochy and the Giants didn't really know what they were going to get in the postseason. As it turns out, he was splendid then, and a big reason why they won the World Series. 2-2.
Well, there's the example right there. Worth is a big guy, of course, and he's looking up in the zone. And this low pitch right here is going to be tough to hit. That's the bottom of the zone, probably borderline a ball to a hitter. So that low pitch is going to be crucial for both pitchers, but especially Ryan.
And what's new? A full count to Jason Worth. 13 of Worth's 16 plate appearances in this series have gone 4 or more pitches. We talked about it throughout the series. You saw Adam LaRoche. He waits on deck with 2 away. Here's the payoff pitch.
At some point, though, during this game, he's going to have to make them pay. In other words, they have a free strike almost, it seems like, against Worth. They can get ahead of him, and then he battles, and they're always trying to make real good pitches. But at some point in this game, he's going to have an opportunity to drive the ball early, and I think he's going to have to change that scouting report a little bit.
The next 3-2 is up for ball 4. So a patient plate appearance works out for Washington as Jason Worth draws the base on balls and sets up Adam LaRoche with a runner aboard and 2 gone. So from Washington's most patient hitter to their leading run producer, LaRoche with 20 home runs and a team best 92 RBIs during the course of the regular season. He too has been neutralized in this series, like Worth, just 1 for 14.
Well, they've been doing a good job of staying away from in. Adam LaRoche loves to pull the ball, evidence of the shifts, and they've done a nice job making him go and expand the strike zone away. And when Adam hits it on the ground, it usually results in an out.
Strike 1 to LaRoche. Stingy pitching has been the theme in this series. Make no mistake. A pair of 1-run games, games 1 and 2 in Washington. An unusual way in which the Nationals got on the board for a crooked number yesterday in game 3. And we'll talk about the potential importance of that sacrifice bunt and error as we continue today. We'll also talk about pitching options if a game 5 is needed in D.C. in 2 nights. And it's 2 balls and a strike to LaRoche.
You know, I know it's only 3 games in, but you could make the same argument for both teams. Man, they're lucky to be only 2-1 down, or they're lucky to be 2 up to 1, because it really is revolved around pitching. There hasn't been a lot of offense, and the way the games have gone, you could see a flip of the coin with the momentum switching either way. It's really an odd series for each team with no offense, good pitching, and executing an individual play.
Part of a postseason in general that has defied description. I mean, how many folks thought Clayton Kershaw would have a pair of leads in the 7th inning or later, and the Dodgers would lose both of those games? How many people saw the Angels getting swept right out of the postseason, or the Tigers? Full count, 3-2 to LaRoche.
LaRoche trying to do one thing there. His swing got awfully big on a 3-1 count.
Back-to-back full counts with 2 out. Vogelsong trying to strand that runner at first. Into the opposite field for Perez to retire the side. Indeed, a runner left stranded. Underway in San Francisco. Washington 0. Giants coming to bat. the changing winds. You saw that the wind on the bay outside of McCovey Cove pushing toward foul territory and right, and then the wind in the outfield stiffening up the flags to straightaway center. Conditions we will monitor throughout the telecast. Gio Gonzalez underway, the 29-year-old left-hander making his 2014 postseason debut. A veteran of a pair of postseason starts back in 2012, his first year as a National. Former 21-game winner who finished this season at an even 500, but in the what have you done for me lately dynamic of how we judge players into the postseason, Gonzalez was great down the stretch, as we talked about. The 1-1 to Gregor Blanco is fouled away.
And a big key for him is going to be the first inning. He's had a rough time this year in the first inning, a 6 ERA. If he can get through the first inning, everything else falls in place. And we're going to talk about that killer curveball. He has a pitch to get somebody out, to strike him out, unlike Vogelsong working the count. So there's a few more weapons.
We will also post the Giants lineup for you in just a moment. A couple of adjustments for Bruce Bochy, and it's the first time either manager has given even a wrinkle to his lineup.
And the similarities continue with this pitching thing. He loves pitching ahead as well. 135 against when he is ahead in the count, and 330 behind. So almost 200-point difference. You could see working ahead advantageous for both of these pitchers tonight.
2-2 to Gregor Blanco. Line softly into the opposite field. On comes Bryce Harper to make the catch. Let's take a look at the rest of the Giants lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you got to live Moss. After Blanco, another left-handed batting Joe Panik. Posey, Pence, and Sandoval 3 through 5. Left-handers Belton, Crawford 6 and 7. Juan Perez gets a start in left instead of Travis Ishikawa, who had started each of the first 3 games. And then Ryan Vogelsong, the pitcher, bats number 9. We were talking about this dynamic earlier, John, before we went on the air, as a lot of people were guessing as to what changes, if any, Bruce Bochy would make to his Game 4 lineup card. He doesn't have a lot of options based on a very young bench. So as a result, you get 2 left-handed hitters to start the game against the southpaw Gio Gonzalez. Joe Panik grounds to second, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, and I thought that's a huge advantage for Gio Gonzalez. Rarely will he ever start a game where he's going to face 2 left-handers to start to get his feeling going. And there isn't a lot of options for Bruce. But this curveball that Gio will possess and throw, we'll find out if these left-handers can stay off of it.
Middle of any lineup, of course, crucial to a team's success. But the middle of the Giants lineup tonight against Gonzalez, with really their best right-handed options in Posey and Pence, have to be productive tonight for San Francisco.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of pressure on the right-handers in this lineup. You know, it's interesting, you know, later in Glavine's career, Hall of Fame pitcher, they started using more left-handers because that would take away the changeup from Glavine. Well, here you can't really take away a curveball when you're putting left-handers in, so you're adding to his ability to go to certain parts of the lineup for successful strikeouts. So the top of the lineup and then the bottom of the lineup are 2 areas, if you get in trouble, you can pitch around to get to these left-handers.
1-1 to Buster Posey. It's lined into left to base hit. Buster Posey now 6 for 15 in this LDS.
The only unknown for Matt Williams as you watch this replay, and this guy's got one of the prettier swings in the game, lines a base hit, is whether or not Gio's going to have his command. And early on it looks like he does have his command, because that's what Bruce Bochy may have been banking on, even with the left-handers. If he doesn't command his fastball, it doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed. But early on, it's a good point for him.
So now Hunter Pence 4 for 15 in the first 3 games in this set. Pence had a 9th inning double yesterday that looked as though it will be a part of some real late dramatics. Another base hit to left. So a big early moment in this game now with runners at first and second and 2 gone for Pablo Sandoval. And that's the other change that Bruce Bochy made to his lineup tonight. He flip-flopped Pence and Sandoval, something he does often against left-handed starters, simply because Pablo Sandoval has not been as effective from the right side of the plate.
And I know it's only the first inning, but if the count doesn't go in Gio Gonzalez's favor, he has a left-hander on deck that he can go to with the bases loaded. Don't give in. You have to think differently in a postseason game, because normally in a regular season game, you don't even think about first and second, 2 outs, who's on deck. You're just concentrating on the hitter. But in this scenario with the left-handers on deck, if the count doesn't go the way he wants, he can actually pitch around Pablo.
We talk about Sandoval's work as a right-handed hitter. For whatever reason, he regressed statistically this year. Over a 3-year period that ended in 2013, he was a .283 batter against southpaws. That is from the right side of the plate. This year, for whatever reason, down to a .199. Some of the drop-off documented there. Here's the 1-1 to him. Into right for Jason Worth to retire the side. A pair of 2-out singles left stranded onto the second. No score in San Francisco. Stranded in the top of the first. 2 laid waste in the bottom of the inning. We go to the second without a score. Back with John Smoltz and FoxSports.com senior writer J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian in San Francisco. It'll be Ian Desmond, Bryce Harper, and Wilson Ramos here in the second for the visiting Nationals. Desmond 2 for 14 in the first 3 games of the series. And if you get tired of those numbers and we start to sound like a broken record, we apologize. Them's the facts, folks. Neither lineup has mustered much in this series so far, so you're not going to find big meaty mid-90s like totals throughout the first 3 games anywhere on either lineup. 0-2 to Desmond.
Early on, Vogelsong, such easy mechanics. Of course, you're always wanting to be locked in. He's had some rest, but his fastball has picked up some miles per hour, and so far the command early on has been good. You look for different things, especially a pitching coach, seeing how quiet his hands are going to be and how quiet his front shoulder is going to be. And when the moment gets amped up, do those components start speeding up? Not a good thing if they do.
Vogelsong doing a good job of establishing strikes early in the count. 4 of the 5 hitters he has faced have been issued strike 1 on the first pitch. Desmond taking a little time, now ready on 0-2. Bryce Harper waiting on deck. Had a big afternoon here yesterday in game 3. A home run and a couple of terrific plays in left as Desmond pokes that ball out to left field for Perez. We welcome J.P. Morosi from FoxSports.com. And J.P., Bryce Harper had a big day yesterday, something that the Nationals would like to say they've seen coming all along.
No question, Matt. Harper had a down year for a player of his ability, but when I asked Matt Williams, the Nationals manager, and also Nationals GM Mike Rizzo, why he's played so much better in this series, their answer was the same. He is healthy now. He missed a lot of the season with left thumb surgery. Certainly now he has the reps. He's playing now like they expected he would all season long.
Digging in here with the bases empty and 1 gone. The results have certainly been there on both sides of the scorecard, JP. 2 home runs in the series. Offering at the first pitch here and sending a fly ball out to Blanco in center. Neither one of his home runs have been what you call cheapies. Game 1 in D.C. Into the night and onto the top tank. And then yesterday to make it 4-0. A solo shot against Gene Machi that almost snuck out into McCovey Cove.
Well, he saw a first pitch changeup right there, and he just got out in front enough to miss hitting another home run, anticipating fastballs, which he rarely will get on the first pitch. He recognized that maybe being a fastball. Good choice of pitches for Vogelsong.
Here's Wilson Ramos now. If you look at what Ramos has done on paper in the series, 1 for 13, 6 strikeouts, you might try to assign a little blame in the Nationals' 2-1 deficit. It's really just the opposite. Not only did Ramos catch all 18 in D.C. on Saturday night, he was responsible for what could be the biggest moment of the series should the Nationals go on to win in 5 games. The sac bunt yesterday, executing it on 2 strikes, that led to the runs and the eventual win. He grounds out here, part of a 1-2-3 second for Ryan Vogelsong. To get direct TV, call 1-800-DIRECT-TV.
You ever been in a blimp, Matty?
Have not. Have no intentions of doing so.
Really?
Thank
It's
you.
not on your bucket list?
No.
Oh, I think it'd be cool. Just give me a parachute. Let me go in there. Just in case.
See, that's you, though. That's I could see that. On a day before you made a postseason start, even. Brandon Belt leads things off in the Giants half of the second. Call the ball, Maverick, and Adam LaRoche coming in and just flipping the glove out to make a tough chance look easy.
I'm telling you, Adam LaRoche is the smoothest first baseman you will see. He doesn't do anything in a hurry. He doesn't panic. He comes in late, and he's just going to get a little easy little glove catch around the mound, which, by the way, I'm going to go on record say every pitcher should catch. Come on, if you can't catch a pop-up and it's your, who wants it more than the pitcher? I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let it go.
I don't want to take you any further down that road. We'll lose you. It's only the second inning.
You will.
It's Brandon Crawford now with 1 away. Crawford hitless yesterday. 3 for 13 in the series. And again, into that part of the lineup, back-to-back left-handed hitters that one would guess on paper at least would tip a little advantage to Gio Gonzalez.
Well, you know, this is a little unconventional mechanics. I'm going to give you a look at Gio Gonzalez. He's the one guy that you could see the jersey number if you're the hitter, especially left-handers. Look at this. You can see the whole jersey. He hides it well, so that angle and that curveball makes it tough on left-handers. A little bit of Louis Tion, if you will, and he'll get even more animated. And the one thing to watch, though, is if he's got that tilt or that turn a little too much and aggressively, that'll also take his arm away, and that will create some control problems at times. But he looks completely in sync with his mechanics.
How about Johnny Cueto for a right-handed current comp?
Absolutely. It works for him. It allows him to gather his arm and balance and everything that he has going for him. But awfully tough on left-handers for that view that you see.
2-2 to Brandon Crawford. Into the opposite field, a base hit. For his part, Brandon Crawford's been very good against left-handed pitching this year. End of the regular season, a .320 hitter against southpaws. It's the 3rd highest in the game among left-handed batters.
It's crazy how that works out for some guys. Some guys just get too pull happy or aggressive on the right side, meaning the right-hand pitcher, and maybe this keeps him in, keeps his hands back, lets the ball travel more against the left-hander because you almost have to.
So now Juan Perez with a 1-out base runner aboard. Perez could hold the key here tonight for the Giants, batting in the 8th spot and getting a spot start in left. That's the only real matchup play that Bruce Bochy made against the southpaw Gonzalez tonight. Travis Ishikawa sits to start the ball game. Perez ended the regular season just 2 for his last 27. And it's that wild card type player, that X factor, that has the ability to really make a little difference tonight.
Well, he had to do something. That would have added another left-hander in the lineup against Gio. There was one other move he could have made, put Suzak behind the plate.
And that would have put Posey at first, you're suggesting, and you sit Belt tonight?
Yeah, if he wanted to keep Ishikawa, but he could have done both and added and taken away one more left-hander. But the Giants are what they are. They don't have the prototypical bench in the National League where you can go to and find a lot of offense per se.
1-2 pitch back to Gonzalez. It takes a weird hop and everybody's safe.
In fairness to Gonzalez, this ball had tremendous spin on it. He thought it was going to make a real a bounce that you're used to. This ball, it has spin. It takes one more hop and then scoots. Part of the problem at this time of the year, trying to make the play happen quicker than you want to, trying to turn two per se, but this spin makes it look like an even, obvious play, not so obvious. And the Giants get a chance to have their pitcher move the runners over with a potential bunt here with one out.
So Vogelsong trying to set up Gregor Blanco next, and this feeds right into what you talked about earlier, John. It looks like duress for Gio Gonzalez. He needs to only neutralize the pitcher who'll be sacrificing, and then Gregor Blanco waiting on deck, who's 1 for 15 in the series and not particularly good against left-handed pitching. First things first, he comes after Vogelsong and misses. A ball and no strikes.
I know a lot of people are sitting at home and going, that ball was not hit that hard. How could he not make that play? And probably a counter argument to why pitchers shouldn't catch pop-ups. That particular play, there was a lot of spin on the ball, and he was setting himself up to throw to second base probably before he caught the ball in his glove.
And Vogelsong gets the bunt down here. It's a perfect bunt. In fact, so good everybody's saying.
Well, you got to bunt it to the third baseman, of course, to make this runners move up. But the third baseman's got to take charge here. This is going to be an easier play for him than it is for a left-handed pitcher. A little bit of miscommunication right here. You see Rendon, he should just keep coming in and call him off. But he's calling where to go with the ball instead of taking command and take this ball.
And now Gregor Blanco with the bases loaded and one away.
I know a lot of people don't like the bunt. That's an obvious bunt situation with the pitcher, but wouldn't it be ironic that 2 straight days that a bunt comes into a chaotic inning, if that's the case, an error, a bunt that should have been handled, now you have the bases loaded.
This has been a trouble spot for the Giants all series long, despite their 2-1 lead. With runners in scoring position, they are 5 for 31. And it's 3 balls and no strikes to Gregor Blanco. Gio Gonzalez has been known to walk a few guys.
Yeah, that was a pretty good pitch right there. He didn't get the benefit of the call. Now he'll just set up and try to throw it right down the middle.
The 3-0. Ball 4, he walked in a run. Here comes pitching coach Steve McCann. He wants to settle down his left-hander who is prone to emotion. An RBI for Gregor Blanco on the bases loaded walk. They're still loaded. Fire still hot. Steve McCanny's doing all the talking here, folks.
Yeah, and it's just a perfect situation to reset the focus of what you got at hand. And now you just got to make good pitches here to panic. You can hit the ball on the ground ball and possibly get a double play. And you see the excitement out of Gregory Blanco. Gregor Blanco was able to stay off that 2-0 pitch. And then it was going to get to 3-2, I think, before he swung again.
So now Joe Panic. hitless in his last 12 at-bats in the series. His postseason got out to such a terrific start with 3 hits in the wild card game last Wednesday. You know, just to follow up the thought on Gio Gonzalez, he's made 2 previous postseason appearances, both of them in the 2012 Division Series against the Cardinals, and in his first, he walked 7 batters in 5 innings. Matt Williams told us before the game that the leash will be relatively short. Obviously, you're in an elimination situation, and here we are in the 2nd inning, and Tanner Roark is up in the bullpen for the Nats. To Joe Panik.
Well, in fairness to the situation, more than likely he should have been out of the inning, but when things speed up, you've got to slow it down as a pitcher. And he's able to do that in these first 2 pitches. Now you've got to make the pitch with 2 strikes to either induce a ground ball or get a strikeout.
The 0-2 to Panik is bounced to LaRoche. He'll flip it to Gio Gonzalez covering. A run comes in to score. 2-0 Giants.
Ground ball, but it just wasn't hit hard enough. Contact is huge this time of the year. The ability to put the ball in play, we've already seen what happens when you put it in play. You never know if the out is going to be recorded, but if you strike out, you know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to go sit down, and no RBI ever happens with a strikeout.
Former National League MVP Buster Posey now, who on the first pitch bounces it to third for Rendon. And the damage is limited at 2. The Giants playing the small ball station to station attack and translating into 2 runs in the 2nd. Gio made a huge pitch to retire Buster Posey, got him to bite on a first pitch changeup and ground out. If Posey's able to do something in that plate appearance, a base hit makes it 4-0, and there's a very good possibility that San Francisco gets into Washington's bullpen. But Gonzalez made a big pitch, and it's just a 2-run rally in the 2nd. So top half of the 3rd, and Ryan Vogelsong working with the lead will face Asdrubal Cabrera, and then the pitcher spot followed by Denard Span. There's been no stirring on deck yet. Cabrera 3 for 12 with a home run in the series. 1-1.
Well, Gio Gonzalez did a nice job feeding the moment of aggression with the hitter at the plate, making him look like he was going to attack him with a fastball, and gave him a little bit something less, and he pulled it right to the 3rd baseman. Big out.
And Gonzalez will bat next. Cabrera, Gonzalez, and Span. Two balls and a strike. To 2-2 now. You know, there are some similarities between Vogelsong's career trajectory and Gio Gonzalez. Vogelsong was originally a 5th-round draft choice. Gio was a 1st-round supplemental pick, but both of them have been involved in a couple of high-profile deals to get them to their current employers. And a swing and a miss by Cabrera. 2nd strikeout for Vogelsong tonight. Ryan Vogelsong, drafted by the Pirates. Parts of 2 seasons in San Francisco in 2000 and 2001, then was sent to the Pirates in July of 2001 in the deal that netted Jason Schmidt, and a guy that stayed as a staff ace for a few years here. Gio Gonzalez has been involved in a couple of high-profile deals. Originally drafted by the White Sox, sent to the Phillies in the Jim Thome deal a year later. He got to the Nationals in a deal that sent him from Oakland, where he had had some good success on the other side of the bay. A 5-player trade. Tommy Malone, Derek Norris among those that went to Oakland in that acquisition. Life in the big leagues, right? Don't get too comfortable in one zip code. Foul pop that's out of play. Hey, a reminder, caps, hoodies, jackets, and more. Get all the officially licensed gear for every postseason team at the MLB.com shop.
Well, already this crowd's more active than it was yesterday. Giants got the lead. They didn't really score till the 9th. Crowd looking for something to stay up all night long.
Third strikeout of the game for Ryan Vogelsong. I think the fan base here, they're night folks. They like to wear their orange and black. They like to wear the jackets. You pitched at Candlestick. Oh. Remember those frigid nights, and the folks would show up for those quad de Candlestick buttons when they'd stay for extra innings. It was like a badge of honor. Push the crazy crab around. It's a little more well heeled over here in the quote-unquote new ballpark. Here's Denard Span now with 2 out and the bases empty. Sandoval in at third, as he was early in Span's first plate appearance tonight. Into the opposite field for Perez. 7 in a row retired by Ryan Vogelsong. Sandoval and Brandon Belt against Gio Gonzalez, and it's our pleasure to say hello to a 4-time All-Star, Giants right-hander Tim Hudson, who joins us here in the bottom half of the third. Tim, first of all, congratulations on such a terrific starting assignment earlier in this series. It has to feel good for you to have a chance to move out of a division series for the first time in your career.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You know, it does. Yeah, obviously, haven't had a whole lot of luck getting out of the first round, but you know, we put ourselves in a pretty good position here to, to hopefully, maybe hold on to this one and get on to the next one.
Huddy, you've been through so much. You've overcome so many surgeries, and you know, the rigors of a season take its toll. But how good was it to get that rest before your start in Washington? You know,
it was nice. You know, obviously coming in the playoffs, I didn't quite have the September that I wanted, but you know, getting that rest and having a some work on the side with Rags, you know, really got me back on track, and I felt confident in going out there and giving us a really good chance to win. And you know, playoff time's a different animal. You know, you go out there and you just got to take it to another level and go out there and get the job done.
Tim, your first year here with the Giants, and you're back in a very familiar part of the country. So many great years across the Bay in Oakland. We try to explain the way the Giants go about winning, and it's awfully tough to do just by looking at a stat sheet. So from where you sit, your perspective, how do the Giants do what they've been able to do in postseasons the past few years?
Well, you just got a team full of gamers, you know, guys that know how to win, guys that know how to compete, and just a team full of people that knows understands what it takes to do the little things to go out there and win a ball game. You know, obviously on paper a lot of times, you know, it may not be the flashiest thing in the world, but you know, baseball is a crazy thing. You know, if you go out there and play sound fundamentals and pitch the ball and throw the ball and catch the ball, you're gonna have a good chance to beat anybody. And you know, these guys, you know, year in and year out, you know, come playoff time, they know what it takes to answer that call and go out there and get it done.
Timmy, you've been involved in so many historic moments, but can you fathom? You've given me the opportunity now as a broadcaster to call 18 innings. You've done this twice now. I mean, what's that like?
Well, I suppose you was part of the first one.
I know.
I mean, it was, you know what, it was one of those things where, you know, you feel like you're not even a part of the game after you come out of the game after, you know, 2.5 hours of the game. Then, you know, 3 hours later, you're sitting in the you know, trying to cheer your teammates on. So, you know, luckily this time I came out on my team came out on the good end of it. The first time we weren't so lucky in Atlanta.
Hey, I'm big on personalities for a pitching staff. Have you ever been part of a more country personality of a pitching staff with your 3 guys in the front of the rotation?
No. It's I'll tell you what, man. Our little corner of the locker room where me and Peavy and Bum hang out, it can get pretty country on you for sure. You know, Bum obviously he leads the way. He's a cowboy in every way.
Sam, in terms of a potential Game 5 in this series, you'd be available. Jake Peavy would be available. How in your mind do you prepare for the possibility and what might happen if this thing goes back to D.C.?
Well, just got to be ready for whenever the manager calls your name, and I feel confident in what Peavy has to offer, and I'll be ready to go as well.
Tim, thanks for the visit. We sure appreciate the time. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys.
Between the Giants and the Nationals. Just a 2-0 lead for San Francisco as we start the top of the 4th. Anthony Rendon, Jason Worth, and Adam LaRoche here for Washington.
Ryan Vogelsong gets better as every scenario plays out. 0 outs, .308 batting average. And then every situation moving forward, he gets better and better with 1 out and 2 outs, a declining batting average.
A ball and a strike, the count to Anthony Rendon. Again, 7 for 16 in this series against the Giants. The 7 hits, by the way, in his first 3 career postseason games came close to tying a career postseason record. A handful of players had posted 8 hits through their first 3 career postseason games. Behind here, a ball and 2 strikes. Vogelsong has struck out 3 tonight.
Well, the one thing you can definitely tell that postseason's different. Average velocity in 2014, 89.7 miles per hour for Ryan Vogelsong. Tonight, 93. So don't tell me that the juices aren't flowing and you don't get amped up at this time of the year.
You know, perhaps that's part of how Vogelsong is able to flip that switch, as we talked about. It's happened before. 2012, as we discussed, was not in real good standing getting into the postseason, and then was brilliant.
Yeah, and again, we talked about in the beginning, put away pitches. He hasn't had one yet. Other than a fastball, I think he's starting to work in that curveball, but everything's hard. He threw some changeups there. But when he gets the 2 strikes, he's gotten there. It's how do you get that hitter out? Where do you go to? And it's that, I call it the secondary pitch touches that you've got to have. When you're amped up with the velocity, you still got to have the touch on your breaking ball and changeup to fool the hitters.
The next 3-2 to Rendon. Swung on and missed. A 91-mile-an-hour fastball for his 4th strikeout of the night.
Yeah, trying to throw a sinker in, trying to bury it under the hands. He ends up getting it out of the middle of the plate, but the velocity up gets Rendon.
So 1 away, and now Jason Worth. Worth drew the 2-out walk and was eventually left stranded back in the 1st inning. Of the Giants and Nationals in this series through the first 3 games was 190. That is one of the lowest combined batting averages through 3 games in League Division Series history.
Well, the pitchers have just been that much better executing a game plan. seeing the video, seeing the scouting reports, and then getting it to the area of weakness for the hitter, exposing it.
Just missed the corner, did Vogelsong, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
And I call taking your medicine as a starting pitcher when you've got lineup changes, guys that can make a lineup change like Worth and LaRoche. If it's not in your favor, don't pitch to them and don't allow them to hit the long ball or do damage. And that's what they've done. They've taken the walks. They've allowed them to not get into a big inning situation and get to your favorable matchups.
On the inside corner with a fastball to make it 2-2. Three of the 4 strikeouts for Vogelsong have been of the swinging variety tonight. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And again, defensive swings with 2 strikes. That's what makes Worth real good. But the hard stuff late has kind of messed with them a little bit. They haven't really gone to too many secondary off-speed pitches when they've had 2 strikes on them, which speaks to maybe what he's looking for in that high batting average with 2 strikes. So they're executing a game plan about as well as you can. 1 hit for Jason Worth, 1 hit for Adam LaRoche.
Another full count to Worth. 2 plate appearances, 2 full counts. First one yielded a walk.
That was a real good changeup that he tried to just freeze on the outside part of the plate. Wow, how do you stay off of that if you're Jason Worth?
The 3-2. And Worth pops it up. Posey hoping for a play. And he's got one for round number 2.
Again, fastball late, wasn't exactly where he wanted it, but the velocity overrides the location. And the National hitters have not really gotten on top of his fastball yet. Every once in a while, Ryan Vogelsong will get underneath his fastball trying to get it in. He's trying to sink the ball in and keep it on that plane, and he'll ride it up, and he's gotten away with a couple, got some strikeouts out of it.
Here's Adam LaRoche now, and LaRoche playing with a huge hole between Panic, who's out there in short right, and more than a couple of steps toward the right field line, and the shortstop Crawford. LaRoche into the opposite gap. Perez is there with a play to retire the side. That's 10 in a row retired by Ryan Vogelsong. Still 2-0 Giants. A game 4 being played at all tonight is Doug Fister's 7 shutout innings yesterday to keep the Nationals alive in the series. And Doug joins us in our interview brought to you by DirecTV. Doug, congratulations on such a great day yesterday. Has to be very satisfying for you as we watch a long foul ball off the bat of Brandon Crawford. You've had great success in elimination games. You've pitched in 3 of them in the postseason, and your team's won each and every one.
You know, I've been truly blessed to be a part of some great teams, and this one being right at the top there. We're you know, a team that doesn't stop fighting, the guys that work together, you know, playing their heart out. It's one of those things we just want to catch a break and go get it and get some momentum for us.
Doug, great game. I said yesterday, Gloria Estefan, the rhythm is going to get you. That's what kind of pitcher you are, a rhythm pitcher. I love watching you work. What has and how has it changed for you as a pitcher? You always work that fast?
You know, it's something I started doing in college, more on the fact that, you know, trying to get back up there, keep the defense in sync and on their toes. But, you know, it's really worked into something that is my rhythm now, and that's kind of what keeps me on track. So, you know, I want to keep things rolling, keep things moving to where the guys get back in the dugout, start hitting again, and get back to what they like to do best.
Fine play by Adam LaRoche to get it to Gonzalez in time to get the out on Crawford. You know, it's been such a pitching and defense type series, Doug, and I guess you guys, from your perspective, with a staff that's been so successful all year, you're not surprised that that's the way this thing has gone down with the Giants.
No, we're playing a great team over on the other side there, and they're executing well. Most games come down to 1 or 2 pitches, and that's what really we've done this whole series so far. So we just know that we've got to make sure that every pitch counts and every play counts. We got to work together and make the little things matter.
Doug, when you got traded over to the Nationals, it instantaneously made them the best rotation, in my opinion, 1 through 5. But many people have talked about your influence and what you've been as a teammate to a young staff that maybe not had some veteran leadership, and your influence has really made this staff, even though they don't pitch like you, speak to what you've been able to do and add to this already great staff.
Like I said, I've been blessed to be a part of some great staffs, and the guys that we have here are unbelievable. Starting with the guy on the mound, he's each one of them have some great attributes and huge upsides that they're just coming into themselves and really knowing what to do and how to do with what they've got, and that's something that says a lot.
John Smoltz was talking about this the other day, Doug, as we take a look at what you guys have accomplished in terms of rotation numbers. ERA is terrific, leading to the best ERA in baseball. When your pitching coach Steve McCaddy told us how active you were in meetings at the beginnings of series, John Smoltz was reminiscing about the time he hit a home run and then tried to step into the hitters meeting the next day. Have you ever taken it that far?
Well, I've joined in on the defensive side of the meeting, never really on the offensive side. We're definitely a cohesive group. We've got to work together. If defense is moving and shifting in different ways than the way you're pitching, guys, you're not going to get the most out of things. So you really got to stay on the same page and communicate with one another.
0-2 the count to Ryan Vogelsong. 2 gone, base is empty. 2-0 Giants, and a swing and a miss makes for a quick 1-2-3-4 from Gio Gonzalez. Doug Fister, thanks for the conversation. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Still 2-0 Giants. A pair of unearned runs have been the difference so far tonight in San Francisco, with the Nationals facing an elimination stakes once again. It's a 2-0 lead for the Giants as we continue in the top half of the 5th. Starting pitching comparison, both have been very good. Again, the 2 runs charged to Gonzalez unearned. Ryan Vogelsong, for his part, is yet to allow a base hit tonight. He goes back to work in the 5th, and he gets Ian Desmond to start things out for the Nats, and there goes your no-no.
And for the Nats, that's only the second first pitch hit of the series. Ramos, I believe, has the other one. Couldn't come at a bigger time for the Nationals, as they are really trying to get to this game before they get to the bullpen of the Giants. They'd like to have the score a little different than 2-0. So this inning being a big inning.
So now Bryce Harper, he flied to center, picking on the first pitch back in the 2nd. Leadoff hitter aboard, and Harper lays off the first pitch this time. We talked to Matt Williams before the game about what on paper looks from Bryce Harper to be a concerted effort to be more patient at the plate. Harper is an aggressive hitter. He hit .309 on first pitches during the regular season, and at first glance that looks like a pretty good number. The league average, however, is .336. Bryce has not offered at the first pitch as often in this very short sample size, so we asked Matt Williams about that. And his contention is that Bryce is just seeing the ball a little better.
Yeah, he's seeing the ball a little bit better. He's healthier with that thumb. And the biggest thing is he's going to have to, as he gets older and matures in this game, he'll be able to set up pitchers a little bit better when he can see the ball like he's seeing. Because pitchers, why would you throw him a fastball? You're not going to throw him a fastball. This guy has already proven he can hit it no matter what the velocity is. So you've got to try to get him chasing outside the zone.
Harper swung at the first pitch in 42% of his plate appearances during the regular season. Behind here, 1-2.
See Posey jump right there. He was anticipating Rendon looked like he was, or Desmond looked like he was running, and look at him get ready to try and throw out the runner in that little sidestep, but he never did end up stealing second base.
Wilson Ramos waits on deck. A runner on with nobody out. Fastball straightens up Harper. It's 2-2 now.
You know, one of the hardest things, at least it was for me as a young pitcher in this league, is recognizing what hitters come off of fastballs and what hitters never do. What I mean by that is some hitters never ever leave the thought of them hitting a fastball. It's fastball first, and that's one thing you got to find out, you know, through video and certain things. I don't think Harper's one of those guys that ever comes off fastball.
Target on the corner. Vogelsong hits it, but it is wide, and it's 3-2.
Now he'll be able to hit hanging curveballs and hanging changeups, but any curveball that has the depth in the strike zone, and you see it just missing that box right there. Anyone that starts in the strike zone and goes down, I think he's more apt to swing at and swing and miss.
The payoff pitch home. And Harper shoots it into the opposite corner. Desmond to third, where he's being waved around to try to score. He'll do so without a throw, and it's 2-1 San Francisco.
That's just real good hitting right here. This is a backdoor cutter trying to paint the outside part of the swing or the plate, and this swing just stays on the ball and takes what the pitcher gives him. Whether he was intended to do that or not, it sure works out with the shift. An easy double in the corner, and the speed of Desmond scores from first.
Boy, Bryce Harper has really made such an impact in this series. A couple of home runs, an RBI double. Terrific defensive series. And now Ramos. A broken bat flare that's handled by Crawford. And that's the first out of the inning.
Now that's a big out, and the reason I say that's a big out, you want contact to the right side of the field to get that runner over to third. The reason is because you only really have one chance to drive the runner in Cabrera, the 8th hitter, and then of course you've got Gonzalez, a potential 9th hitter. With the bullpen going, we'll see what Matt Williams decides to do and the strategy he employs.
But both of the wheels are turning in each dugout in terms of F troopers and decision making. It's Yusmeiro Petit up in the bullpen for the Giants. So Bruce Bochy's already thinking about his next move, as is Matt Williams, because Nate Schierholtz has surfaced into the on-deck circle for the pitcher due up next. First, it's Asdrubal Cabrera with a run in, a runner at second, and one away. Vogelsong and Posey taking some time to get set. 0-1 to Cabrera. You know, it's the Nationals, John, as we know, that are facing the true elimination stakes tonight, down 2-1 in the best of 5. But for Bruce Bochy's part, and he indicated this when we spoke with him earlier today, he's going to run this game as though it's an elimination game for the Giants as well.
Yeah, he has to. Absolutely has to, because he's a little bit short with the weapons that he has comparatively to the Nationals.
Cabrera grounds it to Crawford. So again, Harper kept in check, and there are 2 away.
I'm telling you, execution at this time. You can give me all the analytic statistics you want for a regular season. That's fine. In a postseason short series, we've seen what the bunt has done and caused havoc. We've seen when you execute a play what happens and when you don't. And in this particular situation, to get back in the series, the runner at second with nobody out is still there with 2 outs. Now you need a big 2-out pinch hit from Nate Schierholtz. Those little things are so important in a short series.
The pinch hitter announced in the pitcher's spot, and that means Tanner Roark will go back to work on the mound. He'll take over in the bottom of the 5th for Gio Gonzalez. Matt Williams wanting to take advantage of what has been a rare opportunity to play to run with a runner in scoring position. Here's Nate Schierholtz now. 2 World Series rings back home as a longtime member of these Giants. Spent most of the season as a Cub. Schierholtz came aboard in D.C. on a minor league deal in mid-August. He's been very effective throughout the course of his career as a pinch hitter. A career .272 batter off the bench. Harper the tying run at second, and it's 1-1 to Schierholtz.
And again, the theme of hard to explain series continues. You've got 3 national starters that did not give up an earned run, and they're down 2-1.
A ball and 2 strikes. There's been no figuring out any element of this postseason.
No. I tell you what, Harper's getting such an aggressive lead. I know you're tempted to put on a pickoff play. He is really trying to get as big a lead as he can so that a base hit scores no problem. Of course, now with 2 strikes, it might be a moot point, but a really aggressive lead as the pitch is approaching the plate.
One and 2 to Schierholtz. So it would appear that this game is primed to perhaps turn things over sooner rather than later to the 2 guys who were logging decisions in the 18-inning affair Saturday night in D.C. Petit in the San Francisco pen, Roark for the Nats. And it's a full count now.
Again, I hate to keep harping on the lack of put away pitch. 2 strikes early, and now he has gotten the count 3-2. Now, where he's been successful is getting swings out of the strike zone in 3-2 from the national hitters with fastballs up.
Denard Span waiting on deck. He took Vogelsong deep to left in his last plate appearance and just missed getting it into the gap. And now Posey and Vogelsong want to chat.
Guy coming off the bench. Runners in scoring position, not been great. You see the numbers there. You got to figure out if you're Posey and Vogelsong, do you think he's going to be aggressive? And if he's aggressive, you could get him to swing at a curveball starting over the middle of the plate and swinging over the top of it. If you don't, along the themes, are you going to go outside cutter fastball to try and paint the corner?
Ball 4. So they went with a breaking ball. Schierholtz didn't bite. And here comes Dave Righetti now to chat with the right-hander.
It's a good pitch, and even though you walked him with a base open, good patience by Schierholtz. That pitch was not close enough, unfortunately, to entice a swing. If it would have been more over the middle, it came in, but nothing lost really there. The situation was now you can attack Denard Span with a fresh count.
Well, the suspense of this postseason continues Thursday, if necessary, with a winner-take-all series clinching Game 5 between the Giants and Nationals at 7:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Then on Friday, Game 1 of the LCS in the American League. The Royals and Orioles at 8 Eastern on TBS. Just like we all figured it out, right? Royals and Orioles, we all had that as our ALCS on opening day.
Absolutely not.
It has been an amazing start to this postseason. Harper at second. Schierholtz the runner at first with 2 gone. A run in this inning on the RBI double by Harper. He's still out there now for Denard Span. A strikeout and a line out to left. Breaking ball starts him with a strike. I see you nodding your head up and down.
Great pitch. I mean, that pitch right there, everything's been firm with the occasional changeup. The hitter needs to see something vertically going up and down. That'll help his fastball and take the pressure off his fastball. It's one of the few first pitch curveballs we've seen. Could have come at a better time.
Span, one of the Nationals who's had some success against Vogelsong. 5 for 13 in prior meetings, but behind here, nothing in 2.
Now he slowed him down. That visible radar that a hitter has. He's seen 2 pitches slow down. He can speed him up with a fastball in or away, or he can try to steal some more vertical up and down with the curveball and bounce it. The key is don't allow this count to get to 2-2. Make your one waste pitch, but then your decision pitch by 1-2 at the very least.
A ball and 2 strikes. A lot of these 2-strike pitches, Buster Posey has set the target wide, and Vogelsong is hitting the target but missing the strike zone by plenty. I mean, those aren't designed to be borderline pitches. You're trying to strike a man out with a swing and miss there. Again, missing outside. Here's your 2-2.
Well, those are cutters that are not cutting, and it's a product of the situation of trying to make a perfect pitch. He went curveball the first 2 pitches, went fastball. What's the hitter guessing? Is he going to sit on a curveball? I'm going back curveball right here, 2-2, and take my chances with the break and the consistency of that.
And now Span wants to think about it. Two balls and 2 strikes to Denard Span. On the ground to first. Brandon Belt scoops it up and gets Vogelsong out of any further damage. 1 in the Washington 5th. Middle of the night. 2-1 Giants. 1-800-DIRECTV. Back inside the ballpark, last of the 5th. And the top of the Giants order against a new pitcher on the mound for the Nationals. Tanner Roark took the loss in the 18-inning affair in D.C. on Saturday night. And after a terrific campaign as a starter, working out of the bullpen for the 2nd time in this series.
Well, for Bruce Bochy, you survived the lineup, meaning the left-handed starter and the lefties you had in your lineup wasn't in there long enough, and now you can turn it around with the right-hander Roark. That gives you back the luxury of the 4 left-handers that he's stuck with.
Blanco Panic, the left-hander top of the order, and then Buster Posey here in the 5th. Tanner Roark made 31 starts this year, won 15 games, worked to an impressive 2.85 ERA. Being used in relief certainly isn't anything new. Last year as a swingman in his rookie campaign, made 9 relief appearances and loses Gregor Blanco to a base hit back up the middle. Just the 2nd hit of the series for Blanco. And now an opportunity perhaps for the Giants to utilize his speed. San Francisco, as we've talked about all series long, didn't do a lot of running during the regular season. Only the Orioles stole fewer bases all across Major League Baseball. But they might be in a situation here to get something going on base. Here's Panic now with a man aboard and nobody out.
The Nationals pitchers have really made a good adjustment against Panic. They have made him look mortal after the first 2 games. He was hot with 5 hits. But as the Giants have done to Worth, the Nats have made adjustments to Joe Panik and really mixed up, not just attacking him with fastballs. They've made him hit some off-speed pitches, got him a little more off balance because they found out he could handle the fastball as well.
Takes a pitch for a strike. Panik is 0 for his last 12 after the hot start that John mentioned to this postseason. One and one. So Tanner Roark with a chance to bounce back after that rough outing on Saturday night. And according to our JP Morosi, and JP can fill us in on this, there is some methodology involved there.
Yeah, Matt, he really has, since midway through the 2012 season, gotten much better at processing bad outings. It actually goes back to a conversation he had with AAA Syracuse manager Tony Beasley, the pitching coach there, Greg Booker, and Doug Harris, one of the Nationals' VPs of player development, just about finding ways to move past things that happen. And when I asked him if he really watched a lot of video of the Belt homer, he said, no, I know when I've pitched well and when I haven't.
A ball and a strike to count from Roark to Joe Panik. And another check-in over at first base. Well, this was the last time we saw Tanner. Brandon Belt's top of the 18th inning home run. It made this a 2-0 series lead for San Francisco. And the two might have another crack at one another tonight. There goes the runner. And Panik shoots it into the opposite field. Blanco will be unable to advance past second after all. The ball in front of him in left. But the Giants have something cooking here in the 5th.
Well, this is straight hitting. You got to put the ball in play, and all he does is put it in play in the right spot. Now, because it went to left field and Harper a good arm, it's just one base for Blanco, but now it sets up for the meat of the order, really. Posey and Pence trying to give them a little more breathing room.
Some more activity down in the Nationals bullpen as Buster Posey digs in, 1 for 2 tonight. Good speed, and Blanco and Panik aboard with nobody out. Strike 1 to Posey.
Yeah, looks like Blevins going to get ready for some of the left-handers. Turn Pablo around back to right-handed if they want after Hunter Pence. And it looks like Roark is going to be given a couple hitters to try and wiggle out of this. You've got to tell yourself, I've got to induce a ground ball. Posey doesn't run that well. I could get a double play if he hits it on the ground.
We have lamented these numbers now for both sides, telling you last half inning that the Nationals are 2 for 22 with runners in scoring position. The Giants are 2 for 18. The only 2 hits, Pablo Sandoval's single in game 2 that tied it in the 9th. And Ryan Vogelsong's bunt today that was officially scored a base hit. 1 and 2 now.
Well, 3 great pitches right there. Now what he did is he got him away from leaning out over the plate. He threw 2 good breaking balls. Posey being aggressive, swung at both. Fastball in, trying to freeze him and get him off the breaking ball. He can go right back out with the slider if he wants.
The 1-2 to Posey. Slider missed, and it's 2 and 2 now. Hunter Pence waits on deck. And then, as John mentioned, it's Pablo Sandoval, the switch hitter, would bat next.
It's funny in this game when you get a great hitter to 0-2, then you go, oh shoot, what do I do? I can't make a better pitch than I just made. You just got to have to make it look like the same pitch he swung and missed at. Posey with the drive out to center field.
Span makes the catch. Blanco will tag up and advance to third. Runners at the corners now with 2 gone. And it'll come down to Hunter Pence. One away here with runners at the corners.
Pence has shown the ability to hit the ball to all parts of the field, as you see those signs for Hunter Pence. He can hit it to right on a fastball. He can pull it. He just sprays the ball. He's hard to defend.
A cue shot to first. LaRoche is going to come home, but nobody's trying to score, and that loads the bases. There was no force play at the plate.
That's a tough read right here. The ball was not hit hard enough to turn 2. So LaRoche sees Blanco coming down and gets rid of it. And gets rid of it too quickly and wide, so that allows Blanco to get back to third base.
So now the bases are loaded for Sandoval.
The only thing he could have done is fake a throw to home to get Blanco to hold and then get the out at first. But that's a lot of thinking in a short period of time when the action is don't allow a run to score. That's how much this 1-run lead or deficit for the Nationals is.
So it's Sandoval batting from his stronger side, left-handed. The Nationals bullpen was signaling that Jerry Blevins is in fact ready. But Matt Williams and Steve McCatty want to keep the ball with Tanner Roark here.
Well, he can get a ground ball, and it would be a double play if it's hit at somebody.
And it's 2-0. The Giants scored their first run of the night on a bases loaded walk. Pablo Sandoval hit in a franchise record 14 straight postseason games. Popped him up. And there are 2 away. And how about this for a rematch? Brandon Belt against Tanner Roark, or at least that's what we thought we might see. Matt Williams has Jerry Blevins hot. Roark got the out against Sandoval batting left-handed, but Roark will not have the chance at a rematch with Brandon Belt. A pitching change. We'll be right back.
Change up right here will forever be a moment that Roark will remember and develop as a pitcher. It's a gutsy pitch. It keeps the team in the game. And I'll tell you what, those are the moments as a pitcher you get carried away with a 2-0 pitch trying to make a great fastball, speed the game up. He slowed it down, and for the moment, he's given Blevins a chance to get out of this mess.
And Matt Williams hoping that his bullpen can do what he's asking of it. Roark got a huge out to leave the bases loaded temporarily. And now it's Blevins to try to get him out of the jam altogether. Brandon Belt, the batter, 0 for 2 so far tonight. The former Oakland A making his 3rd appearance in the series. Jerry Blevins worked scoreless innings in games 1 and 2 in D.C. The 0-1 to Belt. Shoots the corner with a fastball, and Belt stays off it. It's 1-1.
This game is becoming eerily similar. Eerily similar. Thank you very much. The Nationals had a chance to put away the Giants in Zimmerman's game. They didn't do it. It was 1-0. We saw what happened. The same is true here for the Giants. They've had a chance to put the knockout punch in a couple situations. They haven't been able to come through, keeping the Nationals in this game.
A ball and 2 strikes to Brandon Belt.
Thanks for the help, Matty. You knew what I was trying to say.
Yeah. I think we've worked together too long. We start finishing each other's thoughts. Blanco, Panic, and Pence aboard. And now a 2-strike count to Brandon Belt. The 1-2. Got him on a breaking ball. Jerry Blevins does in fact finish the job. Bases loaded, one away, and the Giants fail to score. We played 5 complete tonight. It's still just 2-1 San Francisco. Welcome back to San Francisco with J.P. Morosi and John Smoltz. Matt Vasgersian, a 2-1 lead for the Giants. And San Francisco failing to cash in on what looked like a golden opportunity to pad that lead. Credit the Washington bullpen. Anthony Rendon leads things off in the visitors' 6th and lines into the opposite field for Hunter Pence.
To state the obvious, this is a huge inning because it's a momentum swing. You had the bases loaded with 1 out. Your team didn't score. You feel like in the Nationals dugout that you escaped something and that this could be the inning where you can get it back. So Vogelsong, first pitch, gets an out. There is nothing better than that.
So now Jason Worth, who, as he's done all series long, has battled deep into the count in his first 2 at-bats. It's resulted in a walk and a pop-up. On a night where the Dodgers lose in St. Louis, another game in which Clayton Kershaw had a 7th-inning lead. The Cardinals lay in wait for either San Francisco or Washington. And you could make a case, it's an interesting dynamic, that both of these teams feel like they'd have a score to settle with the Cardinals.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of irony in that. Here's where managers' gut has got to be boiling, because the decision of how long do you stay with a starter. This is the worst inning ERA for Ryan Vogelsong, and you could see that Bruce Bochy has the bullpen ready just in case.
Worth into the opposite field. Pence back at the wall and makes the catch! Santa Maria! Fans reacting to the replay on the scoreboard. What an amazing effort by an amazing player.
What makes this so great is it's not your prototypical right field wall. You've got padding, you've got the tall wall, the splash zone, if you will, and he was able to get back there and make an unbelievable catch, and that looks like it's going to be all for Vogelsong. What a catch.
Vogelsong will exit on a crescendo moment, much like George Costanza leaving at the very best joke. It's Vogelsong leaving at the top of the applause tonight with a tip of the cap to Hunter Pence. We'll be right back. Enduring images, if not the enduring image from this division series matchup.
It's incredible. He didn't rob a home run, but in this park and the configuration, that is a tough play. An outfielder knows when he gets to the track how many steps he has left, but because of the padding, the fence, the uniqueness of it, man, what a catch.
So Javier Lopez is summoned out of the San Francisco bullpen. He'll face Adam LaRoche with 2 gone and the base is empty.
It's about as tough as you get on left-handers right here. Side-arming left-hander.
Yeah, just ask Adam LaRoche, because Lopez has been the secret weapon specifically for the Washington first baseman. He's faced 2 batters in the series. Both times that batter has been Adam LaRoche. So make it 3 with his appearance against him here in Game 4.
And more than likely, it's just a 1-batter appearance.
0-2. Javier Lopez appearing in his 5th postseason. 3 of those with these Giants. Still 0-2.
Well, he missed the location trying to go fastball away. This begs for the sweeper, his curveball or slider that you want to slurve, if you want to call it. Tried to go all 3 heaters here. Let's see if he goes for the strikeout away with the sweeper.
LaRoche into shallow left center. Blanco's got it, and a couple of pitchers combined on a 1-2-3-6. Still 2-1 Giants. And that man, Ryan Vogelsong.
I'll tell you what, that was going to be a triple. If he doesn't make the play, it looks like it's going to be a triple. Man on third, less than 1 out. Huge moment.
Jerry Blevins continues in the home half of the 6th, and he'll get the bottom of the order here for San Francisco. Crawford, Perez, and then the pitcher's spot. Crawford reached on the air and scored one of the 2 unearned runs in the 2nd that have been the difference so far tonight. 2-1 Giants. You know, this is a market, John. This is a city, and you know it from broadcasting here, from pitching here as a visiting player, that if you're one of them, they throw their arms around you and they don't let go.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you know, though Hunter Pence is a Texas guy, he is every bit a San Francisco hero these days. They love that guy in this place. There have been some beloved San Francisco figures in history. Musicians too numerous to count, athletes too numerous to count, and Hunter Pence is right there with the most popular among them. Two on to Crawford, is knocked down by Blevins, and they get him for out number 1. Well, the postseason drama continues Thursday, if necessary, with a winner-take-all Game 5 between the Giants and Nationals, 7:30 Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Then on Friday, Game 1 of the ALCS between the Royals and Orioles, 8 p.m. Eastern on TBS.
Yeah, to your point, Matty, if you think about it, it started with Tim Lincecum, the freak, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, then Posey, and then the Panda, and all the. When Pence came here, it was almost as if that's what they needed. You know, uncharacteristic, wild play, the way he goes about it.
Here's Juan Perez now with 1 away. It has been a remarkably consistent cast of characters. Sure, it's not the same exact 25-man roster year to year, but between Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval, now Pence, you could include him in the dynamic. They sell a lot of jerseys with players' names on the back here, something that not every successful postseason city can claim.
And as you said, they're equally as happy when their arch rivals do not win.
A double smile when the Dodgers lose and the Giants win, for sure. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Juan Perez now. So in terms of moving on in this series, with the Cardinals waiting for an opponent, if the Giants win this best of 5, the series will start in St. Louis. If the Nationals come back and win this thing in 5 games, the NLCS starts in D.C., creating something of a logistics headache for those trying to make their plans as fans, the media, etc. 2 gone now. I mean, you've been involved as a broadcaster now in postseasons where I've heard you tell the stories. You're sitting in an airport lounge waiting to see which flight you're going to get on.
Yeah, those are still good feelings and good things to have when you're waiting to play somebody. And certainly now when you think fast forward, the Cardinals, as Matt Duffy comes in to pinch hit, the Cardinals are set up with Wainwright to start Game 1. and yet to be determined for either of these two teams.
Swing and a miss by Duffy.
This time of year we get caught up in matchups, and rightfully so, because that's what it boils down to, matchups. How one team's able to get it done and execute.
1-2 to Duffy on a sharp hop to shortstop Ian Desmond. A great pick and throw to get him at the bag. Blevins gets the Giants in order. Enter rookie right-hander Hunter Strickland in the 7th. Offensively for Washington, and Harper will bat second as we go to the top of the 7th inning tonight and get another look at the big hard throwing rookie right-hander Hunter Strickland.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of power and a lot of breaking balls too when the second guy gets up. But for everything that could have gone wrong for the National, they got to be excited about the position they're in. They're only down 2-1. It could have been a lot worse. They've got a whole bullpen they can work from. They just got to find a way to tie it up first.
It'll be Ian Desmond, then Bryce Harper and Wilson Ramos. 5, 6, 7 part of Matt Williams' order here in the 7th. Because Bryce Harper appears to be as locked on as any hitter in this series, and because of what he's capable of, the temptation is, you know, you cheat a little bit on the scorecard and you think, all right, if the Giants bullpen can just be clean for the rest of the night, they won't have to deal with Harper but one more time, and that's here in the 7th. A ball and a strike, the count to Ian Desmond. The National shortstop 1 for 2. He scored the lone run of the game for the Nats, and there's a fly ball out to right for Pence. This one of the more routine variety. And it's another chance at a rematch in what yielded a power fastball home run of a ball that was coming in at 98 and went back out at 110 miles an hour.
The Giants are seeing Hunter Strickland grow up before their own eyes. He's been in this series a major player. He gave up a couple home runs. Giants went on to win that game, and then of course got the save in the 18-inning game. So he's been in the fire in the moment. See how he responds the second time to Harper.
You know, Hunter Strickland is 26 years old. He's just a couple seasons removed from Tommy John surgery. He had it in May of 2013, so a season and a half. He spent most of 2014 at Double-A Richmond. A far cry from Major League San Francisco and the postseason. Yet Bruce Bochy showing a lot of faith in the young right-hander here in this series.
Well, he started him off with a changeup, went fastball, 2-0 count. Does he have enough guts to throw that curveball 2-0, or will he challenge him here on the outer half of the plate?
Two balls and a strike. 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, that pitch down is about the only spot right there. If that would have been up a little bit, they went in trying to get Bryce from extending his hands and arms. Instead, he got a little body shot of a foul ball.
Two balls and a strike to Bryce Harper. To 3-1 now. Wilson Ramos waits on deck, 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 15 in the series. And then it's Asdrubal Cabrera, who has also homered against Strickland in this series. The 3-1. Harper hits it high and deep into the right field corner. If it's fair, it's long gone. That one is fair. Home run, and we are tied and Bryce Harper's done it to Hunter Strickland again.
Patience. He worked the count to 3-1, and of course, power against power. We showed you it before. And that a man filled with a lot of emotion, and they have tied this game up.
Here's Wilson Ramos now. All back to even, and the Bryce Harper show continues. Responsible for both Washington RBIs tonight. Oh, he is putting on a show. 3 home runs in 4 games in the series. And Ramos has a base hit.
Dead central, and he's just the only moment he has right now is to make sure that ball stays fair. And you have to be surprised that ball did not hook that much. He hit it so high. Whether the wind was able to hold it up from hooking. See it from another angle. This ball's way up in there.
Oh my goodness. Was that a splashdown without a bounce? It surely was. Into the cove. And for the longest time in this ballpark's history, only Barry Bonds went out there. I mean, that's where the big boys live. His 4th career postseason home run before turning 22, and now a major league record holder. You know, bear in mind, this is a player who in his first ever taste of postseason baseball was 2 for 23. That was the 2012 Division Series 5-game loss against the Cardinals. So here's Cabrera now with a man aboard.
Well, I mentioned it. This game, with all the opportunities that the Giants had, and they got a gift early, they were not able to break through with any big hit to break this game open. And now the Nationals, of course, tying it up, feeling awfully good about their chances here on the road.
Jeremy Affeldt and Sergio Romo are up in the San Francisco bullpen as it goes to a ball and a strike on Cabrera.
2-0 pitch, bases loaded. Roark on the mound. And Sandoval at the plate. That might be a moment the Nationals are going to think back to how they stayed in this game and potentially could win it if they take the lead.
Yeah, San Francisco with bases loaded, 1 away in the 5th, couldn't score. And Cabrera takes a strike, 1 and 2. You talk about the Nationals on the road, John, and they finished the season in real good shape away from home. They had the best record in baseball away from home in the final month of the season. 12-3 on the road. To 2-2 on Cabrera now. Tied late. Why not? Why would we have expected anything other than that in a series that's been defined by close and late situations?
Split the difference. 14 innings maybe today.
Ryan Zimmerman grabs a bat. He's on deck. And it's still 2-2 to Cabrera. Getting some information over the press box wire here regarding the ball that Bryce Harper hit into the bay. It was just the 3rd ever in postseason play, and now 2 of those 3 have come by a visiting player. I'm telling you, they don't go out there very often. The 2-2. Locked him up for a call. Strike 3, and Cabrera knew it.
Well, the changeup that he couldn't make against Bryce, he makes against Cabrera. You're looking for 97, and out comes 87. That's a big difference.
So now Ryan Zimmerman. He has had a pinch hitting opportunity now in all 4 games of the series. There was so much speculation before the series began as to how Zimmerman would be used. There was even more speculation after the Nationals fell behind 2-0 in the series as to whether or not Zimmerman would play yesterday against Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, I got to believe his health is the biggest reason why Matt cannot trust the legs or the health of his body to play a position for 9 innings at this point.
A pair of DL stints this year for the franchise's leading offensive player, almost up and down the board. Is behind nothing in 2 here. Oh, 2 pitch. And Zimmerman hits a fly ball out to shallow left. Crawford going out. Perez coming in. That retires the side. Not before Bryce Harper's 3rd home run of the series, and one that gets all the way out into McCovey Cove. Can tie things in the 7th. 7th inning stretch in San Francisco. We'll keep it right here to honor our country for the singing of God Bless America.
We honor America and our military troops here at home and all around the world. And here now to perform God Bless America, please welcome from Steve Silver's Beach Blanket Babylon, Caitlin McGinty.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Keys. Right-hander Hunter Strickland and the big left-handed bat of Bryce Harper, and Harper's won both with an exclamation point. We'll take a further look at that in just a bit. So bottom of the 7th inning. Leading off is Gregor Blanco, bunting. Rendon's on it quickly and snuffs that out in a hurry. John, what's going on between Bryce Harper and Hunter Strickland?
Well, I'm not going to speculate, but the heat of the moment, I don't know if there's prior history or not, but he's making himself feel pretty good about don't be taking that fastball up in here, and obviously pretty fired up about it. I'm going to go on a limb and say, if I'm Bruce Bochy and this series continues, Mr. Javier Lopez, you have a new left-hander to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, that matchup has worked out brilliantly for the Nationals, not so much for San Francisco. So the left-hander Matt Thornton has retired his first opponent as Gregor Blanco's retired on one pitch, trying to bunt his way aboard. Now Joe Panik.
Yeah, Rendon read that beautifully and came in anticipating that could be the play, and he made the play extremely well.
Panik lines out to left, a one-out base hit. Now Craig Stammen had just gotten up to throw in the Washington bullpen with Panik reaching base safely. Now it's the right-handed hitters Posey and Pence. And we'll see if the Nationals try to buy some more time for Stammen. It appears this is going to be Thornton's batter. Buster Posey tonight has singled in 3 trips. A ball and no strikes to Buster Posey. It's the first meeting between these two veterans. Posey lines to center with plenty of English on it. That dumps in front of Span. He had no play on a line drive base hit back up the middle. And here we go again with the Giants, runners at first and second. Hunter Pence, the scheduled batter, and it's right-hander Aaron Barrett that's in the dugout for Washington. And that's the move Matt Williams is going to make here with 1 out and 2 runners aboard. The 4th reliever of the night on his way into the box score for the Nationals. We'll be right back. With John Smoltz, J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, the energy has been ratcheted up here in the bottom of the 7th with runners aboard and 1 away. And the meat of the Giants order due up. So we've already seen a rematch of a batter-pitcher duel that replicated the first result. The home run by Bryce Harper against Hunter Strickland. It struck again tonight. Aaron Barrett faced Hunter Pence in game 2 of this series in D.C. and of course under very different circumstances, and with the bases empty, Pence doubled against him in the top of the 12th.
Yeah, Pence has been the defensive hero so far. Can he be the offensive hero with a big hit, a rare hit in runners in scoring position in this series?
First pitch by the rookie right-hander misses in tight.
These numbers are telling the story of how good the pitching has been on both sides. Barrett's got a good arm, 94-mile-an-hour fastball with a tight slider.
2 balls and no strikes. Pablo Sandoval waiting on deck.
Right there, overthrowing his 2-seamer. You can see that pitch up, supposed to be buried in on his hands. And now a very hittable count, 2-0.
Right-handers batted under 200 against Barrett during the regular season. 3 balls and no strikes. The Nationals wiggled off a bases loaded 1-out hook in the 5th.
I would not be surprised if Bruce gives him the 3-0 swing right here. Looking for Broadway right down the middle, trying to make something happen on a 3-0 count.
Takes a fastball for a strike.
Wow, that was the pitch too. If he did have the green light, that was the location to drive the ball in the gap. The 3-1, and it's a full count now.
There's that 94-mile-an-hour fastball you just talked about.
Yeah, a little loose swing there, trying to drive the ball. 3-2 is more of a neutral count. You can go slider. He hasn't thrown any yet, but you can throw a slider here if you feel like Pence will stay aggressive at the plate.
The payoff pitch. Hunter Pence was the Giants' best hitter during the regular season with runners in scoring position. .351. No stranger to the big fall stage. Pablo Sandoval waiting next. The 2-2 tie hanging in the balance. The Giants have had 4 plate appearances tonight with the bases loaded. The results have been a base on balls, a ground out, a pop out, and a strikeout. Steve McCatty wants to chat with Barrett and talk about the task at hand with Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, this is getting him to slow his thought process down, try to execute pitches early on, talk about the aggressive nature of Pablo Sandoval, and if you make a good pitch, you can get the ground ball or the out that you want. So this is all resetting the focus for McCatty coming out.
Sandoval had that bases loaded opportunity with 1 away in the 5th. And that's when Tanner Roark threw him that gutsy 2-0 changeup and made the Panda pop out. He's hitless tonight. On a much less important note for the Giants is Sandoval's 14-game postseason hitting streak. He is 1 shy of tying a National League record.
With the bases loaded, Sandoval's been an .083 average, 1 for 11.
A ball and a strike.
And as a team, San Francisco's near the bottom with the bases loaded.
It was Sandoval's double that tied the game in the top of the 9th in game 2. And it's 2 balls and a strike here.
I talked about with Barrett, he's got that quick arm action, and the hand or the arm drops down behind his backside. If the timing is not right, it forces that natural 2-seamer and almost spikes it down. He's got great movement. He's just got to trust it.
2-1. 3 balls and a strike. It bounces away from Ramos. Here's Panic with the go-ahead run. Posey and Pence both advance as well.
Well, just what we were talking about. He spiked it again, and this one you can't try to. You got to get your body in front if you're Ramos, and it just rides up his glove. There's not a lot of distance behind this home plate, but because the ball went straight up in the air, that allowed the time for the runner to score. And now they're going to put him on. And again, I just got done saying the backstop is not that far behind home plate here. And Bruce is going to come out and maybe see if the glove was late on the slide for Buster Posey. They're talking about next year doing away with the intentional walk. Well, that might be some reason why you don't do it, because that ball, in a great play this time by Ramos, and he's definitely going to be out.
What may be discussed here is Barrett blocking the plate, and do the same rules apply to a position player covering the plate as a catcher with the refined runner's lane rules?
Well, thank God they didn't have this rule when I was leading all the league in wild pitches, because I had this play quite a bit, and that's what you got to do, is drop your knee and sacrifice something as a pitcher to get the out. And they're going to take a look at whatever angle they want to replay and review this.
This play is under review, presented by Samsung.
I'm telling you, just you can never assume anything's going to happen at this time of the year, and you're just basically throwing a pitch out, and because he tried to throw it slower and not the natural velocity that he would, he launched it. And if it works out for the Nationals, they will get an out of this play.
The fans are reacting here to the replay. And certainly there's been so much conversation about the runner's lane and the revised rules at the plate that the fans here are aware of what they're seeing.
Well, what happened the other night in Washington is a play that was so close at the plate that whatever the ruling was at the time, that would have stayed. In other words, if he called him safe, there wasn't enough evidence in that replay to show that he would have been out. So he called him out on the field, and that replay showed that there wasn't enough evidence, and it stayed. It was that close of a play. I don't know that this play will fall into that category, however. Got to commend Major League Baseball and the committees for getting this right this year. So many angles we get to see. So many other sports have caught up with technology that they have made this a rule change that will make our sport better and help out the umpires, because the umpires do not get the angles that the viewers at home get to see. So a very positive rule change.
And the call is upheld. First base umpire Mike Winters, who is the crew chief here, just explained something about Williams. We'll take a look at it again. Here's the way the rule reads. It specifies the catcher in terms of the runner's lane. We'll do a further explanation on this when we come back, as the Nationals are going to make a pitching change. We'll be right back. 2 out runners at the corners. A pitching change that brings Rafael Soriano on for the Nationals. And to clarify the review that we just had, per Rule 7.13, they took another look at this, and what we had speculated, do the same rules apply to a position player covering the plate as a catcher in terms of the lane? The answer to that is yes, but the review was generated simply by taking another look at the tag. Brandon Belt with a shot out into left that's handled by Harper, and the Giants will settle with 1 in a wild bottom of the 7th. We'll talk more about it when we come back. 3-2 San Francisco. Just an intentional walk gone bad. Aaron Barrett airmails the throw. It came back off the backstop, and Posey is thrown out trying to score. And just to clarify the nature of the review and the ruling from New York, Aaron Barrett does in fact cover home plate. He is, quote, blocking the plate, but he's set up there early enough to where he was able to apply the tag without being in violation of the rule. That was an adjustment that the league made about halfway through the season. We'll get back to that in a moment. Sergio Romo facing Denard Span, leading off the 8th.
Yeah, that rule has confused not only the managers but the runners, and I maintain that that adjustment made to help clarify a little bit and clean up the confusion of that rule. It doesn't mean you cannot slide into the catcher or run into the catcher per se. I think most people have been trying to take the lane, give it to him.
Top of the order here in the Nationals half of the 8th. Now, earlier in the season, had that play taken place exactly as it did tonight, the runner would have been called safe for the fielding player blocking the plate, whether it's the catcher or somebody else taking the throw. But again, the league making an adjustment to that rule and appropriately responding. It was in early September when Joe Torre announced that adjustment, reacting to a lot of players and managers. Fly ball out to left center for Blanco. The Nationals are down to their final 5 outs tonight. It is amazing, however, John, that both of the plays at home plate that have affected this series have involved Buster Posey as a runner.
Yeah, and I think right there you got to understand that surprised him more than he was ready for it, in my opinion. You anticipate that the pitch out's not going to be a wild pitch, and because you see it go over the catcher, your natural instinct is to go. Ramos made an incredible play. It bounced off the screen right to him, and the short distance between home and the screen was not enough for Posey to get there in time.
Here's Anthony Rendon now with 1 away. And a Romo slider is in for a strike.
And the point is, you can't blame him for going, but it has to be one of those where you're absolutely sure, because of the nature of the play, it surprised him. It surprised us. Probably everybody here in the stands.
Rendon's been held hitless tonight. Another slider, another strike. It's said all the time of Sergio Romo, you know what's coming, but trying to hit it is another story.
Yeah, he's mechanically made some adjustments because he's been lights out lately. Since losing his closing role, he's made the adjustments. He stands on the first base side, throws it at the hitter, and sweeps that slider away.
That went off the plate. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
I think the biggest adjustment, just noticing him throwing his sinker, is more effective because he's primarily a slider type pitcher. He'll surprise a hitter now with that sinker in, or the fastball that doesn't go away.
Romo appeared in each of the first 2 games of the series. Scoreless innings in D.C. both nights. 1-2 to Rendon. A fly ball to center field. Can of corn style for Gregor Blanco, and there are 2 away in the 8th.
This is an interesting matchup. I think Worth, and a good low ball hitting, off speed hitting guy. But you're going to have to still make these great pitches if you're Romo, because Worth, as patient as he's been, is looking at this point now to drive the ball. He better be looking to drive the ball and trying to tie the game up if he gets a hanging slider over the middle of the plate.
Jason Worth is 0 for 6 in his career against Sergio Romo. And takes strike 1.
And see, that's my point. As a pitcher, you feel like you can get a free strike against a guy that has been notoriously patient and taking strikes. You got to be ready to hit that heater.
Another fly ball. Belt says he's got this one. And all business 1-2-3-8 by Sergio Romo. And then the pitcher's spot. The most unlikely way to take a lead and almost pat it. A bases loaded wild pitch that happened in the 7th when Joe Panik scored. And then on a intentional walk, a ball that came back off the backstop that cut down another would-be run. If we'd have told you about it, you wouldn't have believed it until you saw it.
Well, that's why I said this time of year it wouldn't have happened in the regular season. His arm action, he spiked a couple, got close, and it's just the moment. Sometimes your timing is just sped up and you don't feel comfortable in certain situations, and it got the best of them there on a wild pitch. And then as you mentioned, the unforeseen intentional walk that got an out. You don't see that very often.
Right, that's right. So Brandon Crawford here in the bottom of the 9th against Rafael Soriano, who retired Brandon Belt to get out of the other bases loaded jam in the 7th. Crawford, Perez, and then the pitcher spot.
What's amazing about these two teams, the magic number's 4. When either team gets to 4 runs, they are very good, and it's only happened in this series once. So you think about how tightly contested it is, and no one's really even getting to that magic number, and yet here the Giants are with a chance to put them away.
The Nationals, a major league best 74-11 when they get 4 or more, and the Giants right on their heels 73-13 in a 3-2 night tonight. 2 balls and a strike. Rafael Soriano, by the way, the former Nationals closer, relieved of those duties in the second half of the season, is making his 2nd appearance of the series. He worked a scoreless inning in the 18-inning game on Saturday. And Crawford has a leadoff base hit.
Well, for Soriano, his natural fluid motion and natural cut to his fastball has not been where it was before. He's struggled with it. It's kind of morphed into a slurve, if you will, at times. And there he had just come in with a 3-1 pitch to create contact, and the contact resulted in a base hit.
Juan Perez might be the best bunter on the roster. Asked to do so here, drops it down perfectly. Soriano gets him at the bag. Crawford moves into scoring position. A reminder that next on Fox Sports Live, Jay and Dan will be joined by Hall of Famer Frank Thomas and World Series champ Gabe Kapler with instant reaction from both of today's games, including more from St. Louis, where the Cardinals have moved on to the League Championship Series, plus an exclusive one-on-one with Browns QB Brian Hoyer. Fox Sports Live right after the game on Fox Sports 1. And if the Giants wrap this thing up in 4 games tonight, we'll have the entire celebration after the game tonight as well. A ball and no strikes to the pinch hitter Travis Ishikawa. Ishikawa has started throughout the series in left field. Did not start tonight because of the matchup with Gio Gonzalez. And Bruce Bochy told us before the game he liked the idea of having Ishikawa's bat available late this evening.
You mentioned St. Louis. St. Louis was able to beat the Dodgers with this same score, 3-2. Trailing 2-0 in the 7th, a 3-run homer by Matt Adams. That series is over.
That's bounced to first for LaRoche. So Crawford to third now. And there are 2 gone.
Well, you can see right there, green light 3-0, trying to make something happen, but not the 3-0 result you want. You got to hit it harder than that, and maybe got a little too anxious and rolled over a pitch.
Top of the order, Gregor Blanco now. He has walked with the bases loaded. That play to the first Giant run of the night. Has added a single to his line as well, so 1 for 3 this evening. Blanco has had some success in limited opportunities against Soriano, 2 for 3. Former Atlanta teammates squaring off against one another here. A huge insurance run out there at third with 2 gone. Two unearned runs in the second. The bases loaded walk And then a ground ball gave the Giants a 2-0 lead. Washington cut into it with an RBI double by Harper, tied it with a home run by Harper, and the Giants take the lead in the 7th inning.
Well, speaking of which, Harper's coming up third, so he'll have a hand in trying to either take the lead or tie the game up. If you think about all the things that he's been able to do in this series alone, he'll be third up.
Well, he'd be the guy that Matt Williams would hand select to give him his last crack. It'd be LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper in the 9th. And we'll go there with the Giants on top 1-0. Potentially the last 3 chances in the Nationals 2014 season. LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper with the Nats down a run. Is down to its final 3 outs tonight. LaRoche, Desmond, and Harper against Giants closer Santiago Casilla in the top of the 9th. Strike 1 to LaRoche.
Casilla has all kinds of weapons to get a hitter out. It's not just his fastball. His secondary pitches are awfully good.
Casilla earned the save in game 1 in Washington. He's worked 2 scoreless innings in this series, has not allowed a hit or a walk. Into center field. And the Giants are 2 outs away from advancing to the League Championship Series. Could it be that a 96-win team's season ends on a wild pitch?
The Giants have put enough pressure on him with runners in scoring position, enough heat on the pitchers that finally caved in right there. A wild pitch allowed the run to score, and of course a fast runner at third doesn't hurt.
Ian Desmond has singled and scored tonight. The last 4 Giants runs in this series have come via a sac fly, a walk, a ground out, and a wild pitch. Hardly the 27 Yankees.
No, and let's not forget what yesterday was. It was the bunt, and really it was the bunt again today that led to an actual base hit when he could have got an out, and it got him some runs, and not to mention an error on a funny spin ground ball that got the 2 runs for the Giants.
0-1 to Ian Desmond. Dating back to their New York roots, the Giants are 74-1 when leading a postseason game after 8 innings.
So to steal a line from Dumb and Dumber, if you're the Nationals, you say, so we got a chance, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they got more than a chance with the on-deck hitter. Bryce Harper has been almost impossible to contain the later this series is gone, and the Giants are very aware of that. Makes his plate appearance for Desmond crucial. The 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes.
All right, those are the 2 home run hitting swings. Now you got to find a way to shorten it up a little bit and find some outfield grass.
Ian Desmond, the longest tenured member of the organization, and the last National that can trace the beginnings of his career to the Montreal Expos. The 1-2 to him. And they ring him up. 2 gone in the 9th. We'll take another look.
I'm sorry. I just don't like the home plate umpire making that call. It's too easy to check to the first base umpire. If you're the Nationals, you have every reason to be upset. But he thought he saw him swing and contract the pitch at the same time. So it's all up to Harper at this point. Just a tough call for a home plate umpire. That's why the guy at first is standing down there.
So it all boils down to Bryce Harper. 2 out, top of the 9th. Harper has made the biggest offensive impact of the series on either side of the scorecard. 3 home runs in 4 games. 0-1. Nationals are down to their last strike in 2014. Both Washington runs tonight, courtesy of Bryce Harper. RBI doubled in the 5th. A home run in the 7th that got into McCovey Cove on the fly.
I think you're going to see a few more of those pitches out of Casilla. No reason to surprise anybody with a fastball. A man that stays on the fastball as good as Bryce Harper.
Two and two.
Last two are a product of trying to make it too good a pitch. Tendency as a pitcher, you see the swing and miss on where the pitch is, and you go, I can make it a little better than that. No need. Decision pitch right here, 2-2.
Wilson Ramos hoping for a chance. He'd be next if Harper can keep things going. A full count now.
Tell you, got an interesting situation now. He has not even come close to throwing a curveball after that one. There have been about 48 feet. So if you're Bryce Harper, do you just think that possibly, maybe, he's going to throw me a fastball and try to sneak it by me? Or will he make an adjustment that he hasn't been able to make in 3 straight pitches? We will find out.
So you want to be a closer. 2 out, top of the 9th inning. Three balls and 2 strikes to Bryce Harper. Here it is. You know how sometimes when you're a fan, you see what you want to see?
Yeah.
I think there were about 40,000 people that did not see that foul tip.
Well, 5 in a row. 5 breaking balls in a row. That one was a little more hittable.
The next full count pitch. Ball 4. And the tying run is aboard with 2 out in the 9th. You just get the sense that Santiago Casilla didn't want anything to do with challenging Bryce Harper. He's been paying attention to this series.
Yeah, and you don't mind that walk, but when you get it 0-2, then there's too many opportunities to get him out, and he wasn't able to make the adjustments after 0-2. Now here's the gutsy call. You got to look for balls in the dirt if you're Bryce Harper. Do you look for a point at which the count does not go in the hitter's favor to try and steal a bag and get it second base so that Ramos, a single, ties the game? See what kind of, we've seen some gutsy moves already this series. Let's see if there's one left in the Nationals.
Ramos singled in his last at bat. 2 for 16 with 6 strikeouts in the series. Harper stays put, and it's a ball and no strikes to Ramos.
Casilla's not the fastest to home, but if it stays in a hitter's count, I doubt that they'll even try it. But with 2 strikes, I think they're more tempted to try and get that bag. And the general rule is you never want to make the last out. Obviously, it's attempting a steal.
Harper stays put again. Ramos fouls it away. And that's no ordinary last out. That's the last out of the season, potentially.
The hardest part of a closer in big moments is you can't think about how close you are to winning the game. You've got to execute the pitches. It was 0-2, and a great hitter in Harper worked a walk.
If it goes one at bat deeper, the switch hitter is Drupal Cabrera waits on deck. LaRoche flied out to begin the 9th. Desmond struck out on a controversial call. Harper walked after being behind 0-2, and now 1-1 to Wilson Ramos. 2 balls and a strike.
Two outs, nobody on. The Giants rallied. Tied the game. 2 outs, nobody on. Can the Nats return the favor with a walk?
Speaking of that stirring Game 2 comeback in D.C. on Saturday night. On the ground to second. Panic to Belt, and the Giants are going back to the National League Championship Series. The NLCS will start in St. Louis. Seen this movie before. Giants Cardinals to determine who represents the National League in the World Series. Let's get it out to Jay and Dan with the start of Fox Sports Live. We'll be back here for more celebrating in just a bit. Indeed, guys, and it's all happening on the pitcher's mound. The Giants are going back into very familiar territory. The San Francisco Giants, John, have now won a National League record 7 straight postseason series. A team that belies any mathematical explanation, with a lot of the familiar components from fall success in 2010 and 2012. And they've got another date with the Cardinals to determine who moves on to the Fall Classic.
It's hard for a team to have so much on his resume to not feel like this was a huge underdog win. On paper, the Nationals have had a great year. Their pitching staff, second to none. It's hard for me to not think this was a huge upset, but what you just said makes it feel like they have the pedigree. It looks like the National League's going to have to wait another year for the best record to get and win a world championship, and it's been since 1995 since that has happened.
LA Angels best record in the American League, swept right out of the division series. Washington Nationals, a 96 win club, a terrific regular season, best record in their circuit, and they're going home. J.P. Morosi standing by with one of the Giants' heroes.
Thank you, Matt. Hunter Pence, you stood here on this field about a week ago, not even being guaranteed one more home game. How does it feel now you're bringing the NLCS back to San Francisco?
Outstanding. I mean, it's been a remarkable journey. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And this group, it's a blessing every day to take the field. And this stadium with this team and these fans, it's truly a blessing.
Hunter, you mentioned this group, 11 wins in the last 12 postseason games. Why is this team so great in October?
I can't really answer that. We don't know. We just come out and we go as hard as we can. Give everything you got. And, we play some great teams. These teams are amazing. But, good pitching, good defense has been kind of, the foundation of finding a way to win.
Hunter, I have to ask you about the defensive play of the series. You're catching right field on Jason Worth. 6th inning tonight. Take me through it.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 strikes. I was playing him a little bit oppo, fortunately. And, he crushed that ball. This is one of the toughest parks for a right-hander to hit out that way. And, I just had a good read on it and was able to make the catch.
Your teammate Ryan Vogelsong, a bit rocky in the month of September, but he comes up huge in October once again. What was his performance like tonight?
I mean, that's clutch. That's as clutch as it comes. It's not an accident that he has the success he does in the playoffs. He's one of those tough, hard-nosed, gritty guys. He's prepared, works his tail off, and he earns it. He deserves it.
Hunter, congratulations. Best of luck in the next round. Matt, back to you.
JP, thanks. And once again, it's 2 very familiar LCS adversaries that'll meet one more time. You realize, John, that the National League has been represented by only 2 teams in the last 4 World Series. If it's not the Cardinals, it's the Giants. And JP, we understand, is now standing by with Buster Posey. Back to you, JP.
Thanks, Matt. We're here with Buster Posey. Buster, as Matt just said, 7 straight postseason series this franchise has won. Why is October so magical here in San Francisco?
Oh man, it's hard to say. This is the time of year. The reason we work so hard in the off season and spring training, and getting to play in front of these fans is unbelievable.
Your teammate Ryan Vogelsong, another huge October performance, just like he had 2 years ago. What did you see from him tonight?
Man, he was sharp. He was really sharp. The heater was working great. Had a little extra life on it that I've seen in a while, and made some really big pitches when it counted.
You were involved in kind of a bizarre play at the plate there on that wild pitch. How did you see that play unfold?
Well, you know what? Flan, our third base coach, said be ready in case he throws one in the backstop. And I wanted to get off as far as I could, but at the same time, I didn't want to give Ramos a lane to throw in case, Rendon went to the bag. And it was just one of those weird plays where it ended up getting me.
Buster, you guys just made the playoffs here as a wild card. No home game guaranteed. What does it feel like now to know you're bringing the NLCS back here to AT&T Park?
It's a great feeling. I mean, I think anybody that's here tonight sees what type of electric atmosphere this is. And, again, we just love playing in front of these fans.
I have to ask you your perspective on Hunter Pence's catch on Jason Worth there in right field. What did you see on that play?
Man, you never know here with the way the ball's going to carry. This, to me, is one of the harder outfields to play that I've seen our outfitters play in. And that catch he made was unreal. I mean, it really brought the momentum back in our favor.
Thanks for your time, Buster. Best of luck in the next round. Matt, back to you.
JP, thanks. And, JP makes a good point, John, regarding the wild card, and you almost forget that the Giants had the long way to go. They've got to win 12 games to wear another World Series ring. They had to win that additional wild card game. They did so behind Madison Bumgarner. Listen, they were not set up at all favorably, given they had to win that game Wednesday night in Pittsburgh. They were underdogs in this series, playing a very good, complete Washington Nationals team, and they win it in 4.
It's hard for me to sit here and go, how can you think that San Francisco's not going to win? What an incredible time, and a series really that they were not favored, and my hat's off to Bruce Bochy.
There's the final out. Wilson Ramos, a ground ball. Buster Posey knew what was going to happen next. 4-3. Giants go back to the National League Championship Series. Hunter Pence gave us one of the enduring images with that brilliant catch in right, and he's going to lead the charge once again. Pablo Sandoval back on the bigger stage. His postseason hitting streak is over, but I think he'd trade that for a chance to play in the LCS.
No doubt. They've got some guys that just come up clutch. What a series. I mean, again, Washington, a great year. They could have just as easily won this series, but Bruce Bochy and his patience and never seems rattled. That's about as animated as you're going to see him.
Well, it's an even year after all.
It is. A lot of veterans right there stepping up. Tim Hudson, Jake Peavy. Bumgarner going to get another chance to do what he does best this time of the year.
Ryan Vogelsong was brilliant tonight, set the pace, and gave the Giants exactly what they needed. His big fall performances continue, and he's standing by with JP.
Thanks, Matt. Ryan, congratulations. What is it about you in the month of October?
I love it, man. I love it. That's all I can say. This is what you play your whole life for. This is what you dream about when you're in the backyard as a little kid throwing the ball off the wall. And I just love it. I love the energy. I love the intensity. I love the pressure. And I wish it could almost be like this every game during the season, but you can't replicate it. And I love the big stage.
Ryan, you made your last regular season start on September 26th. A long wait till today. No guarantee of a postseason start for you. How did you use that time between that start and today to really make those adjustments?
It actually worked out for me as much as I would have loved to go early in this round. You know, I had some stuff I had to clean up mechanically, and I did a lot of video work, and I saw some things that I wasn't doing very good, and it was really zapping my velocity, zapping my command, and really affecting all my pitch, like the break on my pitches. So I just spent the last week trying to really clean that up and make sure I got where I wanted to be, and I was able to do it tonight.
Ryan, you guys have now eliminated the team with the best record in the National League. You weren't favored in this series. What is it about this team in October where it seems like you can beat just about any team out there?
Well, we like it when no one picks us. No one picked us in 2012, and we did it. No one was picking us this year, and we're doing okay. We got a long way to go. We know we're not where we want to be yet, but it kind of drives us when people pick against us.
Ryan, congratulations. Best of luck in the next round. Matt, back to you.
JP, thanks. The Visqueen is up, and the champagne is a-flowing. We're going to send it back to Jay and Dan in the studio at Fox Sports Live. The celebration just beginning. Much more from San Francisco throughout the night. Guys, take it away.